Hey there, everybody, and welcome to our hybrid episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. I mentioned hybrid, and that's because we have the end of the regular season for basically everybody else and a playoff game for 2A. So we're going to be bringing you our game of the week as well as a breakdown of our lone playoff matchup this week. So going with game of the week, we have the Heel River Bowl. That is Florence at Sandsad Foothills, and while on paper, this is kind of a no-brainer. Crazy things tend to happen during this game, and just going off of that, David, what are your thoughts on what could potentially happen or not happen on Friday?
Well, I think the biggest thing going into this game is that the interesting aspects of this game are kind of the ones that are on the sidelines. With head coach Mike Carlin, who was previously with Santan Foothills, was there for a few years, had led them to a pretty solid record while he was there. But he took the other job. He went to Florence, which is an interesting point there because this is a rivalry game. It's kind of tucked away with some of our bigger rivalries in the county, but this one is one that really people really care about and really pay attention to. But when it comes to the on-field stuff, like you said, anything can happen, but really, this is just two teams that are on opposite sides of the spectrum right now. Santan Foothills has just had a rough season when it comes down to performing and kind of rebuilding and putting the pieces back together. They're under a new head coach of their own, obviously, so it's been a tough season for them, and I don't really know what to make of this team, especially going up against a Florence team that's on a really good run right now. Brody Ramirez has been a solid quarterback for them this entire year so far. He's passed for over 1,000 yards. He's thrown for 10 touchdowns. So it really comes down to what Florence can bring, and is this a potential trap game for them? They have their playoff eyes set. They're ready to look towards the end of the season when it comes to the postseason, but they need to still take care of business while they still have a game left to play. And there's going to be a lot of high emotions in this game. There's going to be a lot of trash talk, I'm assuming. So whichever team can kind of limit that a little bit and stay focused on the task at hand will be the winner. I'm probably going to take Florence in this one, but I expect Santan Foothills to really kind of ramp up, especially with this being their last chance to put a win on the record books in 2025.
So, looking at Florence, one guy I really want to highlight here is Wyatt Stenson. He is one of the top targets, the top target for quarterback Brody Ramirez, but he's also getting it done in different aspects of the game. Looking at the defense, he has 7 interceptions. One of those has been returned for a touchdown, and then on special teams, in punt return, he has 3 touchdowns. So Wyatt Stenson really is a determining factor for the Gophers, along with Brody Ramirez on offense. Dayron Neal also with his running game, and then on defensively, Caden Vale and Zayden Cundiff. All these guys, just if they can bring their A game or even half of that, I feel like it's going to be slightly lopsided, like David mentioned. Santan Foothills and all of their struggles this season, going from just being a brand new team, just under new leadership and everything. But I feel like David mentioned they have that added incentive and of wanting to just show their former head coach, hey, you left us, this is what you left behind, but it's just all a matter of can they really put everything into play here. It's been a tough season for them, but overall I feel like they do have some key pieces to kind of focus on and build off of for next year. And then, like I mentioned, this is our hybrid episode talking about our playoff game. That is number 17, Santa Cruz, at number 16, Glendale Prep in Peoria. Why are you calling yourself a Glendale school in Peoria? But that's beside the point here. Santa Cruz has been number 17 since the first AIA Power Rankings came out. They stayed number 17. This whole crossover region game, it didn't help them, but it didn't hurt them. So that's a good thing here. David, what can you say about this matchup?
They're going to run the ball and run the ball even more, especially when they got a guy like Diego Ibarra, who's been a solid running back for them all season. He's run for 1,000 yards in the regular season, so it's crunch time for this team. They've had an up and down season despite making the playoffs. They've been 5-5 throughout the entire year. They played some really tough competition. They didn't really rise to the occasion when they played that tough competition, but more importantly, they beat the teams that they were supposed to beat, and that is a huge benchmark for them and the reason why they're in the playoffs, especially when it comes to strength of schedule. They were able to take care of business when they had to, and they've had enough performances to show that they could potentially do something here. And this is a fairly evenly matched game. I think Santa Cruz has a decent chance of coming out of here with a win and getting on to the next round, but it just comes down to, can they, keep their wits about them? Can they stay focused on the task at hand? Can they, overcome some of the injuries they've had to deal with and guys moving around to a lot of different spots this year? But if Ibarra is healthy and he's ready to go, he's going to be the focal point of this offense. And then the important thing is, can the defense really hold up here and limit scoring on the opposite side? Because that's going to be a huge factor as it always is for playoffs. Defense wins championships is not just a saying; it really is true. They're going to have to prove that in this game on Friday.
David highlighted the point here. Santa Cruz's defense is going to be really tested. While Santa Cruz is really good at running the ball and eating up that clock, Glendale Prep is the opposite. They have a very, very strong passing game. Quarterback Joshua McHale, over 1,800 passing yards, a 65% completion rate, 34 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. It doesn't matter that they don't have that ball for that long. When they do have the ball, they're able to capitalize on that. And for Santa Cruz, hey, your defense really has to lock that up. McHale's main target is Dylan Lincoln, 770 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns. Look for these two guys to really be the key for Glendale Prep. They are capable of running the ball with Bobby Glasner, 9 touchdowns, 727 rushing yards, and he is also the leading tackler with 67. So overall, I feel like Glendale Prep does have the more balanced game. It's just a matter of who can capitalize when they have the ball. Santa Cruz, yes, you're going to run it, you're going to eat up the clock, but you got to be able to score. It doesn't matter if you make it all the way down and then not score, because like I mentioned, Glendale Prep can turn it on real quick. Here are our picks and schedule for the end of the regular season for 3A, 4A, and 5A. And as always, be sure to check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage.